No, pues I just remember que estábamos todos afuera de la house de mi grandma y que mi grandma nos andaba platicando historias de cuando ella estaba más joven y cuando ellos les había pasado algo ahí en la casa. Y mi mamá dijo, sí, yo me acuerdo que también a mí me pasó algo cuando estaba con mi hija. Y me acuerdo que nos pasó algo en Roberto y, y nomás me acuerdo que nos había pasado algo. Y estaban platicando de eso allá en la casa de mi abuelita. Y es que nosotros vivíamos ahí en FAR los primeros 10 años. Y luego nos movieron para acá, como la edad de 12 años de edad que tenía yo. Nos movieron para acá, para Álamo. Y de acá de Álamo nos pasaron para allá, para San Juan. Y ahí estuvimos en San Juan como por 10 años. Y ahorita ya va a cumplir 35 años de edad. Y pues mi mamá pues se sentaba a platicar con mi abuelita cuando yo apenas tenía la edad como de 5 o 4 años de edad. Y entonces pues yo nomás me acuerdo que estábamos en una casa, ¿verdad? Y mi mamá pues le habló a la policía y le dijo, oiga, es que un hombre se quiere meter para mi casa. Y mi mamá dijo, ¿sabes qué? Vamos a movernos porque no me siento a gusto. Vamos a movernos para allá cerquitas de acá tu abuelita. Le dije, está bueno, ma, nos movemos para allá. Y pues yo hablé con un primo mío cuando estábamos ahí en San Juan. Y nada más por eso que le platiqué a él, le di permiso de que se quedara conmigo en la casa. Y también porque pues yo estaba bien enferma, pero yo estaba así, yo estaba mejor en ese entonces de la anemia. Pero como estaba yo tan mal antes de que me recuperara, me dieron tratamiento y se me quitó el problema, pero quedé como muy así como se me van mucho las fuerzas del cuerpo. Y entonces mi mamá dijo, como que me entra un sueño tremendo y se me van las ganas del cuerpo y me da muchas ganas de estar nomás acostada. Y entonces, pues estábamos ahí, le dije a un primo mío, le dije, oye primo, ¿no te quieres venir a quedar acá con tu hermana nomás unas 2, 3 veces, pero quédate unos 2, 3 días o un tiempo nada más? Y dijo, sí, 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 voy. Le dije, es que te quiero platicar algo y quería nomás que saber si tú me podías ayudar. Y dijo, está bueno, sí, sí, yo voy para allá. Y mi primo, pues él es un poco más joven que yo, como unos 10 años de diferencia. Y entonces, pues, hay otros que son como de 80 o 90 60 70 años de edad y se ponen a platicar de cosas que les han pasado con los hijos, los nietos y todo. Pero son otras personas de otras familias. Y yo apenas tenía como 5 o 10 años de edad cuando mis abuelitos se sentaban con nosotros afuera a platicar. Y pues teníamos un amigo que siempre me acuerdo de él, un amigo que se llamaba Amado y una señora que se llamaba Doña María. Y me acuerdo que Amado nos llevaba frutas o verduras para allá, para la casa de mi abuelito. Y tenía el pelo gris, 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 canoso, canoso, canoso el pelo. Y tenía una troca como Silverado. Y entonces, pues, yo nomás me acuerdo que yo no pensaba en esas cosas de relaciones, ni de embarazos, ni matrimonio, porque yo apenas tenía la edad como de 5 o 8 años de edad. No tenía una edad muy grande. Y entonces, pues, para cuando cumplí yo 12, 13, 14 años, ya no lo veíamos a él. Como para la edad de 15 algo le había pasado a él cuando yo tenía 15 años de edad. Algo le pasó a él y ya no lo volvimos a ver. Y nos dijeron que él había fallecido. Pero yo lo conocí antes de la edad de 12 años, como a la edad de 5, 6, 7, 8 años de edad. Y pues mi mamá pues una vez le dijo a la policía que un pelado se quería meter para adentro. Y mi mamá dijo, ¿sabes qué? Vamos a movernos para que no se haga un problema porque no me siento a gusto. Tu papá ya no va a regresar, dijo, tu papá ya no va a regresar. Dije, bueno, pues vámonos. Y pues nosotros terminamos allá en San Juan. Nosotros estuvimos en San Juan como por 10 años. Y mi papá nunca fue de visita, nomás fue como 2 o 3 veces para dejarnos de comer. Y mi papá es de las personas que es bien amable y habla muy poco, pero cuando se enoja no le da ganas de hablar con la persona, cuando anda de mal humor. Y pues yo pues no me porté bien y se metieron en problemas mi mamá y mi papá. Y mi papá ya no quiso venir a hacer la visita que hacía por año. Y entonces, pero antes de eso también ya no quería venir. Antes de que yo tuviera los 7 años de edad. Por eso mi mamá dijo, ¿sabes qué? No me siento a gusto, vámonos para allá con tu abuelita. Dijo, es que no me siento a gusto para nada. Le dije, bueno, ma, vámonos. Dijo, ¿sabes qué? Voy a empacar todas sus cosas y todo y nos vamos. Y ahorita le hablo a un taxi. Dijo, le voy a hablar a un taxi para que nos venga a levantar. Y ya cuando necesitamos que ir a lavar, pues le hablamos al taxi y el taxi nos puede llevar a lavar. Le dije, está bueno. Dijo, sí, como quiera no me cobran mucho. Dijo, nomás es para ir ahí a la lavandería a lavar. Y ya le hablamos al taxi cuando estemos listas y nos lleva para atrás para el apartamento o para la casa. Le dije, ok. Y entonces, pues, nosotros llegamos ahí a la casa de mi abuelita. Y mi abuelita empezó a tener problemas también. Que porque se ponían a tocar la puerta y nadie estaba ahí en la puerta. Y entonces, pues, mi primo llegó ahí a la casa, al apartamento que teníamos en San Juan, porque después de la edad de 18 nos movieron para allá, para San Juan, porque terminé lo de la escuela y quedé en grado 9. Y es que un muchacho me golpeó cuando yo estaba en la high school y eso me quitó de terminar los planes que tenía yo de la escuela. No pude terminar la escuela. O sea, los planes de la graduación y todo eso de la high school. Y entonces, pues, mi primo dijo, sí, prima, yo voy para allá con mi hermana, me voy y me quedo ahí. Y dije, bueno, yo me quedé esperando y mi primo llegó. Le dije, oye, ¿por qué te tardaste? Te estaba esperando ayer y antier. Dijo, no pude llegar porque me ocupé con algo de la escuela y con mi hermana y luego pues mi mamá estaba muy ocupada. Le dije, ay, qué bueno que pudiste llegar, le dije, porque no me sentía bien. Y dijo, ¿qué tienes? Le dije, no sé, nomás no me sentía muy bien. Dijo, pues cuando te sientas así, dijo, pues le dices a mi mamá, yo vengo y te dejo de comer mientras que tu mamá regresa. Le dije, ok. Y ahí estuvimos como por 10 años en San Juan. Pobrecito mi primo, apenas se estaba acercando para la casa. Y yo le dije a mi primo, le dije, es que la única razón que quise que vinieras, no nomás porque me siento mal, pero es que quiero que me ayudes. Dijo, ¿qué necesitabas? Es que necesito que me muevas todo para allá, para FAR. Nosotros vivíamos en un apartamento que está ahí enfrente de la escuela. Te quería preguntar que si me puedes mover para allá. Y mi mamá ya había movido bastante los papeles de housing de la escuela y había cambiado de carro bastantes veces. Mi mamá cambió de carro desde la edad de 5 años que tenía yo hasta la edad de 25 años de edad o 30, como unas 30 veces o 20 veces. Y entonces pues como unas 20 veces yo creo, como unas 15 veces. Sí cambió muchas veces de carro, mi mamá. Y entonces mi primo pues llegó y dijo, oye, te traigo un plato de comida porque mi mamá me encargó que te viniera a dejar de comer. Le dije, ay, primo, gracias. Le dije, ya me hacía falta que vinieran de visita. Y él pues llegó, ¿verdad? Y dijo, ¿qué estabas haciendo antes de que llegara? ¿Por qué estás sola? Le dije, ay, es que me enfermé y desde que me movieron para acá no he podido ir a ver a mis amigos ni nada. Y dijo, ¿y tu mamá? Y le dije, no, pues es que ella se fue porque cuando llega se ocupa con la baraja, con los clientes. Y luego me dice él, dice, bueno, pues mi mamá me dijo que te viniera a dejar eso, nada más vinimos a verte para ver si habías comido. Y le dije, no, es que yo no tengo para comprar comida y mi mamá es la única que está pagando la comida. Dijo, no, pues entonces dijo, come y yo después te traigo más de comer. Le dije, okay. He told me to eat the food and that he was going to bring more food to me, and that why I was by myself for a long time, and that how was I going to do so I could recover. And he was telling me that the only reason he had gone to go see me is to check up on me to see if I had if I had eaten something. And my mom had oftenly complained, so we moved out of that residential that we had, but not there in San Juan, in Far, when we were living in Far. And my mom had called the cops because some people were trying to trespass to the house, some house that we had. My mom said, you know what? Let's go in the taxi to the laundromat. We'll pay the taxi to take us to the laundromat, and from there, we'll pay them again to take us back home. Anyways, we're just gonna go wash one or two loads, or just the loads that we have for me and you, and then we'll go back home. It's not that expensive. They won't charge me a lot. And I told her, okay. And I remember my mom used to take me to McAllen. She used to take me to like big stores, like where they sell shoes that are fancy. My mom was the kind of person that she would dress me up with dresses and like like fancy clothes, like to go out to like big party, like family reunions, like that. And so she would oftenly call the taxi, and the taxi would take us and bring us back home. And so I told my cousin, it's because the only reason I wanted to talk to you is because I want to make sure that I get the help that I need. And he's like, well, what did you need? I'm like, it's because I need someone that can move me over there to Far, some house, some apartment that we used to have in front of the elementary. But it's because my mom had been moving the paperwork and housing in school and everything lots of times. My mom. And I was upset because I wanted to stay as a student all all the years in Far, but I wanted to graduate. I dropped out in freshman year, and I started to date like around the age of 11, 12. By the age of 18, I had already lived with someone in high school for about a year and a half or two. And I didn't remember exactly how many weeks, days, or months. So I said 2 years. And I started to regret the relationship because I started to feel that I was very into him, and that I was very responsible for the relationship. And it's because I didn't know what I was doing or what I was getting myself into. And I didn't regret him, but I was trying to be mean to him because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was feeling very confused and unsure. And so me and my mom were there in San Juan, and my cousin said, "Okay, sure, I'll help you." He said, "I'll help you so they can move you over there to the apartments that you're wanting to move to." But he didn't really tell me like that. He just said okay, and that's it. And I was explaining to him why I wanted to move back over there. And so yeah, so my mom went to go live with her mom, with my grandma, at some point in my life, because we didn't feel comfortable by ourselves at the house that we had. So we got out of the house that we had, and we went to go live with my grandma. But then my grandma started to complain because my aunt started to have problems at school, and my aunt was not going to school, and she was not going home either. So my mom said, "You know what? I'm going to move out so my mom can fix the problems that she has." And so my mom was living with my grandma, and one of my cousins. I didn't have any brothers or sisters, and my parents, they didn't live together, which is why my mom ended up at my grandma's house. But my mom had a younger brother and a younger sister, and they're the youngest ones in the family, from the brothers and from my aunts and uncles. from my mom's brothers and sisters, and they were the ones living there with my grandma. So they had a huge discussion because one of my cousins kept going in and out of the house, and we started to get in trouble. And my cousin had introduced me to some friend of hers, some friends that lived there in the neighborhood. But I didn't go spend the night at their house or go sleep over at their house or anything. And it was because my cousin had been dating one of them. And so I didn't think when she was dating him, uh, I didn't think about him as a boyfriend until later because I started to have problems at home with my fiance, and I realized that I was falling in love with the other person. And I never wanted to say anything to anyone because I wasn't sure. I was feeling very confused. And so I left the relationship like that. And after some time, I realized that I was falling in love with someone else. But when we broke up, me and my boyfriend that I had at that time, and he had just proposed to me like a day or two before that. And so we broke up, and I started to fall in love with my cousin's ex boyfriend. But she never told me that they broke up. And I realized that I was wrong, that it was him trying to tell me something, but I didn't know what it was. And he didn't tell me that, but from the info I was getting over here, I realized that I was trying to tell him something and that he was trying to tell me something. And so, I don't know, like something kept interrupting me, him, my other friend, and my other friend, but most importantly, him. And it's like, okay, I would understand that, but all three of them, like, be interrupted from the friendship. And so it's because we were friends, all three of us, but mostly the other one. But it wasn't the other one that was trying to pass a message to me, it was the other one. And I was like, okay, I would understand if I would have said no to them, but if we would have stayed friends. So that's why I started to feel weird about that. And then, anyway, so my grandma would complain. She would oftenly complain that someone would knock on the door or try to move the doorknob in the back door and the front door. And not only my grandma, but my grandpa, my aunt, my mom, and me. Everybody was complaining that somebody was trying to get into the house through the front door and the back door. And we never said anything because I never said anything because I didn't tell anything about that to my friends, the ones that live there in the neighborhood, or my friends from school. And my cousin, well, she had brought in lots of people, and my mom, because my mom would pay the parties for me for Christmas, and she would invite everybody in, my mom. And I don't know, like everything started to change, like everything. And my grandma, well, I never thought anything bad about my grandma or my grandpa because I was very respectful towards them from like the age of 1 to like the age of 10. And by the age of like 15, we were already having problems because my grandma didn't want to have us at the house anymore. And by the age of 20, I think 22, 20, my grandma had already passed away. She had died. and not her when I was 20. And yeah, so I was over there at a party. I think it was a Halloween party, and I was with Crystal Cantu or Isha Moya, or I don't remember who it was, but I was at a Halloween party, and I don't know, like, since my boyfriend that I had at that time proposed to me, everything has been very different. And he's from October. He's from the first week of October. And yeah, so my grandma, my aunt, my mom, me, my grandpa, we would oftenly complain about that someone would try and get in through the front door or the back door and nobody was there. Like, for example, we'd be in the living room or in the kitchen, and all of a sudden we'll hear the drawer from the kitchen open and close, or we would hear one of the doors open from the house. Like, we would hear like the doorknob moving and like someone trying to open the door. And we would open the door and there wouldn't be anybody there, like in the door. And I remember my mom said, put the put the dirty clothes bucket there by the door, and lock the door, and if you can, also put the table there, and let's sleep over here in the floor. So my mom would fix the floor, like from the kitchen, and we would sleep there. And sometimes also the same thing would happen in the front door. We'd be like in the living room, and we would hear like footsteps on the porch, and like someone trying to open the doorknob from the door. And I would go and I would open. Who's there? Who's there? Who's there? And there wouldn't be anybody. And so they were pretty upset because I was supposed to get my wedding done with the guy that I was the one that proposed to me. But he and me, we didn't talk after some time because I don't know, like, just lots of weird things started to happen. And so my grandma, she would be like, I don't want anybody at my house. I need you to go look somewhere to stay because I'm fixing something right now. And so we had to move out. And uh, yeah, and so I don't know, like, I was telling my mom that I want to go back to the neighborhood where we come from because I feel more comfortable over there. But my friends, I don't know, I guess they went off to San Antonio to college or something because they're not there anymore. I went to go wash over the weekend, like yesterday or the day before yesterday. And no, my friend wasn't there. I thought he was gonna go outside and welcome me in, but it's because I came in very late. I was supposed to do that a long time ago.